Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. My name is James, and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about the latest news in regards to Reading Football Club. Now, apologies, there's been no videos over the last couple of weeks, but we're back with the news over the last couple of weeks and stuff that we have missed out on. And basically, I'm just going to go ahead and go straight into it. And the first piece of news that I'm going to touch on is that Reading have been linked with a former player, a loanee that was at the club last season, and that is Chem Campbell. That's right, the Royals are supposedly in talks with Wolverhampton Wanderers to go ahead and make the signing permanent. Reading are rumoured to be paying a free transfer and then a sell-on clause would be attached to that, kind of similar to the Charlie Savage and Ben Elliott deals, where Reading went ahead and picked up them players for free and had hefty sell-on clauses at the end of it. Now, for me, the Chem Campbell signing is actually a pretty smart one, if I'm being honest. Now, I know I said at the end of the season that I probably wouldn't have Chem back, but when you go ahead and take a look at it and think about it realistically, I actually probably would. Listen, Reading needs squad depth at the end of the day. Now, if Chem Campbell was to come in as a starter, that one I would be a little bit worried about. But Reading needs squad depth, and I think Chem Campbell is someone that can add that. Now, listen, the lad is still only 22 years old. And when you take a look at his statistics last year, 7 goals across 42 games for the Royals. Now, the majority of them came in his first loan spell, where he was more successful than he was in the second half, if we're being honest. But for me, I think it's a decent option. Look, I know we probably don't want to have Kamara and Campbell out wide once again next season. But for me, if you've got Chem Campbell as a backup and someone that can come on to the game and maybe change it, I'll take it. Look, at the end of the day, I see a lot of people moaning online, but realistically, 6 weeks ago, we were sat here talking about whether Reading would even have a club. So to be moaning about transfers, I don't know, maybe it's just not really the right thing to do in my opinion. But for me, look, Chem Campbell, would he be my first option? No. But is he someone that I would welcome back to the club? Yes. Now, the next piece of news is in regards to Charlie Savage, and there is a host of championship clubs chasing the signature of Charlie Savage. Wrexham, Birmingham, Blackburn, Portsmouth, and a few abroad clubs all want to sign Reading's young Welsh midfielder. Now, Savage supposedly has no desire to leave Reading Football Club, and for me, it's the same stance as I had earlier on in the transfer window, where, look, if Reading can get the correct deal for Savage, I would sell him, but we don't have to. No, I wouldn't sell him if we don't have to, because I think Charlie Savage is a very good player and improved leaps and bounds last season compared to the year before. He also adds goals and assists and was a massive player for Reading during the peak of the season last year. And look, for me, is a very decent player. But again, Reading previously under the last regime held on to players that they maybe should have sold for the correct price. Now, if the correct price comes in for Charlie Savage, I would sell him too. Now, what is that correct price? £4 or £5 million? Maybe that is the correct price for me. Obviously, we know Manchester United have a rumoured 50% sell-on clause. So obviously 50% of whatever sale Charlie Savage has will go to Manchester United. But if you're saying Reading are going to pick up £2 million, £2.5 million for that sale of Savage, it can go to a lot of reinforcements in the squad that Reading probably need. Now, Savage can be replaced with the likes of Ben Elliott, maybe a Shea Spencer steps up, Tyler Saki, someone like that potentially to step up into the first team, or maybe we see Michael Craig slot into that defensive midfield position and we see Lewis Wing go further forward. But look, I think Savage, look, he's a very good player, and yeah, look, I wouldn't want to see him leave, but for the right price, I would see at the back of him. The next piece of news is that Nigel Gibbs has left as Noel Hunt's assistant manager. He's gone ahead and joined West Brom to join an exciting opportunity. What that is we don't know. Now, Ryan Mason was recently appointed as the West Brom manager. Maybe he'll be going in and advising young Ryan Mason on what to do as the new Baggies head coach. Either way, though, this marks the end of Nigel Gibbs' time at Reading for, I think, maybe the 3rd time or 4th time. Either way, he was here under Brian McDermott and was here under Brian McDermott in his last spell as well. So either way, thank you for the service, Gibbs, and I'm sure he gave Noel Hunt a lot of experience in that dugout that Noel Hunt needed as he began his career as a first team manager. Now, the last piece of news that we're going to touch into is that Reading have announced 2 fixtures for pre-season. The first one of them comes on the 12th of July as the Royals will travel to Gillingham to take on the League 2 side. And on the 26th of July, the Royals will host Portsmouth at the Select Car Leasing Stadium. A game where, look, there's a lot riding on that as Reading fans hate Portsmouth and Portsmouth hate Reading. No, of course not, it's pre-season. But for me, Portsmouth is a good test for Reading coming into the last week of pre-season. Portsmouth are a team Reading are a championship side and a mid-table championship side at that. So it'll be a good test for Reading to see where they're at. Normally the last week of pre-season tends to be where teams start to really play a little bit properly. Not too much, obviously, because you don't want to have any injuries going into that first game of the season. But either way, teams start to test themselves properly, and hopefully Reading have a good test against Pompey on that last day of the season. Now, in terms of any contract news, nothing has come out just yet. We know Lewis Wing is playing agent, though, when it comes to getting Joel Pereira to re-sign with the club. There has been a couple of rumours as well that Hull and I think Blackburn or Watford are rumoured to sign Amadou Mbenge. Look, they're in for him, and it wouldn't surprise me if they were in for him, because Mbenge, again, is a very good player, and it wouldn't surprise me if he has his suitors in the division above. But either way, nothing concrete has come out, and there's no proof of any contracts that have been accepted or rejected just yet. That's going to be it for this video today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. My name's been James, and we'll see you all again very soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.